everybody, it's Melanie again. How's it going? So I had a couple of questions about how did I deal with telling people about my weight loss surgery, and just in general, how do I respond, or whatever the case may be, when it comes to my weight loss surgery. Now, first of all, I don't think it's a big deal. It's not something that I announced to the world. It's definitely something that I only discussed with my immediate family, which is my mother, my father, my sister, and my spouse. And at the end of the day, I thought that was more than enough, because I think directly it would affect them ultimately. So they're the only ones that I really told off the bat about it. Of course, my parents definitely had a concern when it comes to weight loss surgery, because the horror stories that they've heard about individuals that, so definitely they had concerns. But I like to think that I gave them all the statistics, because I'm a statistic kind of girl, and to calm their nerves. My father definitely was the one that was a lot more concerned than my mom. My mom was just kind of like, if that's best for you, then kind of like whatever the case may be. But my father definitely was the one that was kind of like, you don't have to do this. He was able to do it. If someone else has seen my video before, basically my father's side is the side that has a lot of individuals that are morbidly obese. My dad was morbidly obese early on in his life, and he was able to turn his life around. He's been able to stay at a steady weight all his life. But his sister, his mom, other family members were just obese. And so, the genetics in our family are strong when it comes to that. So ultimately, I told him that, it's what's best for me in my life, just because, I don't know how people do it, but to work out religiously, eat right, and do all those items it's just hard for me, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to give no excuse. Maybe if I didn't go to sleep at a certain time and spend that time working out, definitely that would be beneficial. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I just don't want to utilize that time. I can't reiterate that enough with individuals pertaining to that. I want to spend time with my daughter, and I want to be healthy at the same time. So this was the best thing for me. Now, I have told a few other people, just kind of not because I wanted to, it just kind of came out in conversation, because honestly, I don't think it's a big deal. So, it's not like, hey, how you doing? I'm having weight loss surgery. No, it's never been like that. They were discussing, they had a friend, and I was like, yeah, it's great. Anyone that wants to do it, I will go ahead and do it, because I did it. And they were shocked, and I was just like, yeah, I never thought it was something that I had to announce to anybody, regardless if we're friends or not. It's just because I don't think it to be that serious for individuals to, for me to have to tell anybody. I did tell a few other people, like this in, this like in small talk, and I had a lot of negative feedback. And so definitely anybody that is thinking about weight loss surgery and are worried about what people think, or don't care, which I personally didn't care. It was a little annoying, the fact that people, and I want to say thinner people, just naturally thinner people, because some people just have better genetics ultimately. And their comments were like, oh, you are like, I'm sure everyone's heard it, like, who has weight loss surgery, oh, that's the easy way out. Even my husband had told me that one time, that it was the easy way out. And I had to explain to them, if you consider going under the knife to be the easy way out, then you sadly mistaken. And after I spoke to him about it, ultimately he had some view changes, but ultimately he'll, I'm not gonna fight with him. His opinion is his opinion at the end of the day. But I did have those comments, and it really got on my nerves. It really did. And I think maybe that's why I didn't make a big deal of it as well, to individuals, because I don't know about you, but excuse my French, but if you are effing skinny already and you've never been big at all, you've had like 3 children, and I think you have absolutely no right to tell me anything about what's easy, because it doesn't look like to me that you've ever struggled. And that's what I had one time, a young lady that, and it was just in passing. It was just kind of like, she was a coworker of mine, and we were discussing things or whatever, and she said, she was like, oh, that was the easy way out, Melly. I'm surprised you did that. You're not like that. And I had to tell her a little bit about herself, about, have you ever had to deal, with BC? Oh, I had 3 kids. Yeah, you had 3 kids, you're right, but you bounced right back. You look exactly like you did, maybe a couple pounds, but how, the nerve of you to judge my life. It's my life at the end. It's my body. And the fact that people have and that's one thing I will never understand, how people have the audacity to place their opinion like it matters on your life and your life decisions. I'll never understand that. I will never understand that, and to this day I don't understand it. So that's why it bothers me, because I'm the type of person, if you tell me something, I will support you. Unless you're about to commit suicide, I will support you, because that is ultimately your decision. Now, if you ask me for my opinion, that's a different story. I may give you a different rhetoric when it comes to it. But if you're looking for just what most people are, is just support, I'm going to give you that support. I'm going to be as supportive as I can with the circumstances. And you know what? Ultimately, I have to understand, people live and they learn. People, regardless of the opinions that you give someone, they ultimately want to do things on their own, so they have to make the decision. So that's why I don't always push my opinion on anybody unless they ask for it, because they have to make that decision for themselves. And I'm not going to be that type of person that's supporting you, because that's not how we should be. You should be able to be making your own decision for your own life, and ultimately that was the decision I made for my life. And the fact that people had so much opinions about it, it makes me sick. It makes me sick, because do you have to go to the surgery? Do you have to eat right? Do you have to do all these things? No, you don't. So how dare you even have an opinion talking about this and that? So, definitely anybody that experiences it, to each his own. If you want to announce it to the world, that's fine. I think that, if that works for you. If you don't want to keep it to yourself, sometimes, I do think about telling some individuals, because I'm still fresh. I'm 3.5 months now, going on 4 months. And, definitely I thought about, because I'm located in New York with the coronavirus. So I definitely know that I need to be a little bit more open with my medical, so I can get the proper care when it comes to things. So definitely I may have to let people know if anything was to happen to me. Not saying that my intermediate family won't be there, but just in case if it happens at work. So I definitely think I have to be more open in the future, because of all the stuff that we're like on total lockdown here. The schools are closed, and you don't see as many cars on the road. Everything, usually it takes me about 20 minutes, 25 minutes to go to work now, compared to the 30, 40 minutes that it used to take me. So that definitely is something, an adjustment. So yeah, I do take that. I may have to tell people. So that's an adjustment for me, because I don't really like people all up in my business. That's one thing, because I really feel that it was a personal choice, and some people can't just take information and just be like, oh, okay, that's cool, and keep it moving. A lot of people just want to, they want to put their 2 cents in it, and a lot of the times I'm gonna tell you this reason. It's not because I want to hear your 2 cents. It's in the past, whatever. It's not a big deal. Don't make it a big deal. But the fact is that people are so judgmental, and it's sad. It's sad, especially when you don't experience what I'm going through and you want to place that judgment. So I definitely have thought about a few people in my life that I may have to tell, and me knowing them the way they know, of course they're going to give me a lecture, which I guess that's another reason why I don't want to say anything. But ultimately I don't know why it's not human nature, why we just can't help each other, support, and that should what it be. And I'm all about support. Like, I have no problem if you have questions, if you want to just vent on a particular, go ahead, do it. I'm open book, or I'm an ear, whichever you need. So I think just humans in general, we lack that, and it's sad, because I think if there was more support in the world, the suicide would be much lower, and the bullying that we're doing with social media, it should be all positive. It should be all positive content. And that's an ideal world, but if you are instilled those morals when you're young and just embrace them when you're young, you should be passing it on to everybody, and everyone's a sponge around you. I'm a firm believer that if I give that type of energy out to people, it's going to come back to me, and I'm a firm believer of that. So I put the positive and out there. So everyone that's out there that's struggling with weight loss surgery, if people around you are not giving you that support, the community is large. And when I started to search information, that's all I did. I used YouTube, I used Facebook, I used Instagram, because it's a great way to get support from if you're not necessarily getting it from home. Someone had contacted me and was like that nobody wants to support her decision, and especially her husband, because her husband prefers her as a big woman. And I told her, ultimately, I can't really give you guidance on this. You have to make your decision, but you have to see what do you want in life? Do you want to be healthy, or do you want to be to this man? And that's a hard decision to make. I know, because I don't know necessarily if my husband told me that, if I would have been able to make the decision I made. If he told me that, I may have had to stop for a minute, because I've been with my husband over 11 years, 10 years, 11 years married, and I adore him, and I love him more today than I do probably when we got together. And if he told me that, I know it would have been hard. Would I've made the same decision? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I would have made that decision, because I wasn't ever put in that predicament. He had his little things, but at the end of the day, when I sat down and I gave him my reasons, he was respectful enough to be like, okay. And I remember telling him, I was like, you're gonna find me attractive when I'm small and smaller. And he was like, listen, I love you. I don't love you because of your body. I love you for you. And you little, small, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter to me, because I'm gonna love you. And I don't know, to me, that is the way a relationship should be. But sometimes relationships, they're attracted because of certain items on you. And unfortunately, if they don't see that, maybe they can't go past it. It's a hard decision, and no one should make it except yourself. But you have to ultimately say, is the relationship more important, or my health is more important? And everyone says that if you're not healthy, you can't take care of yourself, you can't love yourself properly, then how are you supposed to do it to everybody else? And I'm glad he didn't fight me on it, so I didn't have to ultimately make any type of decision like that, or have to face any kind of decision like that. So that I was really glad about that. But I give it to anyone that their spouse maybe gave that type of ultimatum to them. Ultimately, I would like to think that I would have chose myself, because at the end of the day, I feel so much better. My knees thank me every day. When I wear a little taquito, a little heel, they it don't have to be like a big heel, but even the littlest heel doesn't bother me no more. My back doesn't bother me no more, and I don't hit my steering wheel with my belly anymore. So definitely there is things that you forget at a lower weight, and I feel prettier. And still, you feel a little bit more confident, and I definitely do appreciate that with the weight loss surgery. Now it's not easy, because I still struggle with it. There's times that I get frustrated with myself that I can only eat a certain amount of food. I'll be like, oh, I want to body this, I want to destroy this, and I can't, because my stomach tells me you can't do that anymore. But I come back and I say, you know what? And that's the problem. You at that time, you ate that amount, and look where you were. You were at your heaviest. You couldn't do. Your daughter ran around, and now I can keep up with my daughter. And and that's only with 50. I think I'm 55 pounds now, and I can keep up with her. So if I was to stop losing weight and be stuck at where I am, I would still be happy, because I feel better. Of course, I'm going to continue to get my goal weight, which is not much. I plan to be about 160. 150. I think that was when I was the happiest. I think when I was in the service, when I was really young, I was about 120, and I wasn't really happy, because I felt like I could just be thrown around. I felt like I was just a weight that wind could blow me. So I really don't want to get to the ideal weight. I want to stay at a 150. I would love to do more working out. I do as much as I can at work. I do squats and lunges because my problem areas is my booty. I don't have a booty, so I'm going to purchase a booty eventually. So I do a lot of squats, lunges, my legs, and I try to do ab work as much as I can as well. But to anyone that weight loss surgery, ultimately you have to put yourself first, and you have to see what's your priorities in your life to make ultimately a decision. If you don't have that support system at home with your significant other, your family, you just have to do what's best for you. And ultimately we have to understand that not everyone's going to be happy with our decision, and as long as you're happy with your decision, that all that matters at the end of the day. So be strong to anyone that's doing it. I know it's a scary thing to do. I know I was so scared. My husband was there, and I was just like, I told him, I was like, I'm gonna go. What happens if something happens to me and Aubrey doesn't have a mom? Because she was young. She was 15 months at the time. She's still young, but she was like 15 months, and I was like, she's a baby still. I was still breastfeeding her. So, it was something that was extremely scary. But I remember, the statistics, don't lie. If you do everything properly with the diet, and you also, if you did the endoscopy and you didn't have any issues with the anesthesia, it's very less likely for you to have during surgery. Unfortunately, the problem lies in the first, I want to say the first 6 weeks. Especially if you don't follow the liquid diet, opening up your sutures and stuff like that. But of course, everyone has different type of diet. Some doctors say about a week after you could do the purees and stuff like that. So unfortunately, that's where the statistics are higher. But usually after the 3 months, you're like out of there's something that happened down the line. There is no real evidence that I can find out there. The gastric sleeve just hasn't had enough information out there to get those type of statistics. I want to say that the gastric sleeve is about 15 years old, or 15 to 10 years old, something around there. I'm not 100% sure, but I couldn't find anything because I'm like a statistic girl. I had to see, okay, what's the chances of anything happening? So, anyone that's having those jitters after the fact, you're going to have it. You're doing something invasive inside that you don't even know about. So it's okay to be nervous. It's okay to have doubts. Just, what I did, I took a long time before I did it. So just do it to, get all the information you can. Reach out to people. There's so many people in this community that have no problem contact. I've had someone that randomly hit me up on Facebook and Instagram, and they ask me questions, and I have no problem, because you know what? If I can put your heart at ease that it's a smooth transition for you to go ahead and have the surgery, or even if you speak to me and you no longer want to have it, then that's fine too, because ultimately you made that decision. So, best of luck to anybody that is doing it. I hope you have a strong support system at home, because it just makes it a lot easier. I had it and I felt it just made my process easier. But anybody that doesn't have the support, it don't matter, because you're strong enough to make that decision. You are well enough to take care of yourself and follow through with it. So best of luck to everyone's endeavors. I'm out of here. Until next time, you take care, guys. Bye.